Well, even though I'm not quite done with my planting yet, I figure it's a good time to do a little tour of what I've got going on so far. So, this is just up here on the deck. I've got probably about a total of 40 pepper plants. This is ginger grown in there with also a pepper plant in front of it. There's 3 pepper plants in there. Each one of those pots has 3 pepper plants. There's a large one that I started earlier. I've got some parsley starting in those. Cilantro. 4 more peppers. Another thing of cilantro. We've got a tray of cabbage that's going to be getting planted out. I've got 2 pomegranate trees, 2 lemon trees, and in that red cup there, that is an apple tree that's planted from seed, all from your grocery store. Those I'll probably be keeping, except for the apple tree, I'll be keeping those indoors to grow. And then over here, because I'm going to be doing a lot of cucumber growing and pickling, I've got 3 different varieties of dills that are growing in those back pots. They are just starting. You can just see the little green starts in there. They've been in there for a little over a week. And then in the large raised bed right here, we've got radishes in the front, which probably within a couple weeks I'll be eating on those. You can see all the various rows that are going through here. There's 4 different kinds of carrots that are growing in here. At first I was thinking I was going to do some selecting and pulling out of the, and spacing these out. But I think in the rows, and as loose as this soil is, I think they should do well by just kind of like growing next to each other and pushing each other off to the sides. All right, now we're going to go down the stairs here. And that bed right there, what I have in there so far, I have in these front couple of rows right here, which there's a lot of chickweed that's growing with them, but I haven't been able to determine which ones are the parsnips and which ones are the chickweed, so I haven't been able to weed it too much yet. They're about the same size and they really look similar to each other. All that compost that's thrown in there, I've got a bunch of asparagus plants that are going into there, along with I've got some starts inside of some artichokes. In the back there, those are a few stalks of Indian corn just to add a little decoration out here. I've got 3 fence trellises here with peas that are going to be growing up on those, and those are just popping out of the ground. You can probably see some little tiny ones growing. See, like that's one right here, and they're all pretty much popping up already on those. And over here we've got my composting bins. One's got a side here that's already started to break down. Then I've got a new fresh compost bin there for anything new that goes in. I really should have a 3rd one, so this way once this one over on this side here is really getting more broken down in a few, like 2 weeks, I should be able to turn it over again, and then it'll break down the rest of the way. All right, and over here, this all right here is zucchini, green zucchini, and that's going to be climbing up that trellis that I built there. I left the front open because I'm going to plant some yellow squash in the front. Actually, I'm probably going to do yellow squash and maybe another plant in between, maybe cabbage. I think I might split it up that way. Here's another bed that's nothing in it, ready to plant. As you can see, my broccoli here, my broccoli is doing very, very well. We've got majority of this whole bed is all broccoli, except for down on the end here. These right here are Brussels sprouts. I've got another maybe 24 Brussels sprout plants that I started inside, which I may actually grow indoors in a tent, because I want to see if it'll do better if I raise them in a tent where it's nice and cool in the garage, because this way they're not going to just bolt on me and go off to seed. Over here, this big contraption here, we have tomato plants, which are of the indeterminate variety. That means they will grow as tall as I allow them to. So they're going to go every bit of these 8-foot poles. Just to dress it up a little bit, I've got a zucchini plant on either end at the posts. And then inside the middle area there, those are things planted in there. They're from Mexico. They're called cucamelons. They're kind of a cross between a melon and a cucumber. They're little tiny things. They're maybe about 2 inches long. They don't get any bigger than that. Over here, I've started my strawberry bed, and I didn't quite have enough strawberries this time to fill it all out. So I went ahead and I put some more some more peppers down along this whole back edge there. The little white pellets you see there, those are urea. It's a nitrogen fertilizer. It's 45% nitrogen, which will really give it a boost and make those things jump like crazy. Over here in the uncultivated, kind of the natural setting, those mounds out there, those are my pumpkin plants. I'm going to try my first time at growing some pumpkins. In fact, I just went today, and on this one right here, you can see there is already a pumpkin started on that. And I went and I grabbed a male flower, and I stripped off all the petals, and I took the stamen on the inside, and I fertilized that to make sure once that flower drops off that that is going to keep on growing. If it doesn't get fertilized, what happens is the flower dies off, and then the whole fruit falls off also. So you always got to make sure they help them along. If there's not enough bees out yet, to go ahead and grab a male flower, which doesn't have fruit behind it, just grows off a stem, and you peel the petals back, and you procreate it by putting it inside that flower. That mound is also where I kind of steal soil from. It's where we excavated a pool and they dumped it all over here, so there's a lot of rock in it. So I made up this little screeder here so I can just throw some stuff into the air on top, and it pulls out all the rocks, and I just dump the rocks off to the side. Then I'll toss it over into this pool over here, and I mix it with some peat moss and some compost, and that's where I would get my soil to do my raised beds and some of the other cloth beds. Here's another big 6-foot cloth bed that I'm going to be filling with that material. And over here, this is was my fire pit area. I don't know if I'm going to be able to burn that off unless I put something to shield my potato box over here. And for those of you that aren't familiar with a potato box, these will be growing probably about another 4 to 6 inches, and then I will put another rim of 2x6 around here, fill it in with soil again so they're just protruding out of the soil about an inch or so. And what happens is you do layer upon layer like that, and your potatoes grow in an upward fashion instead of growing across underground. And then at the end of the season, this thing should be probably close to about 4 feet tall and filled with potatoes. So I'll keep you posted on how that thing goes. And then we got underneath the deck area here, I've got a couple more boxes which I haven't put trellises up yet. There's going to be trellises that are going to go from basically the back edge of that, because I've got cucumber seeds in there that are ready to pop up any minute. And they're going to go all the way up to the edge of the deck up here. I'm going to have that netting so that they can climb every bit of that 10 feet. In the front, those are all eggplants. And as you can see, I've got my cucumbers all labeled back here. We've got our pickle bush. And then there's a stake, the little brown stake that's right here. And that determines where I stop with those seeds. Then there is a pickle barrel variety. And then we got a national pickling. And so those three are going to be smaller cucumbers, you know, no more than like 4 inches and maybe about an inch in diameter tops. And what those things are going to be used for is for pickling. I'm going to try to do some pickling this year. Over on this side, we've got our salad slicer cucumbers. And we also have, it is a green crisp, which I believe is an Asian variety. It's a little bit longer and skinnier, and they're really good for in salads. And once again, you see I've got nitrogen. I just wanted to give these guys a boost, get them to really jump. Over here, in this corner bed, which also is going to have a trellis, basically the same netting that I have over on my zucchinis, is going to go from the back edge here, and then it's going to go up to the stairs and over here on the side of the deck, so they can climb every bit of that going up there. And what those are in the back, these are birdhouse gourds. They have like a kind of, if you think of like a girlish figure, that's what they look like when they're growing. And they're probably about 12 inches in size, sometimes a little bit bigger. I also put a couple zucchinis in here so they can climb up the trellis with them. So I'll have some fruit or some vegetables growing there also. That's a bunch of my gardening pots and buckets and so forth. And there's the hardware cloth that I'm going to be using to make a lid for my strawberry patch so that no birds are going to be stealing my strawberries. And then here's my wonderful little farm vehicle. And I drive that around and mix up my soils and bring it to where I need to, and my fertilizers and composts. So basically that's the whole grand tour of everything right now. I still got inside, I've got 2 different varieties of cherry tomatoes, and I also have another variety of a crimson tomato. And let me see, I still have the artichokes that are coming out into here. There are cauliflower and some turnip seeds that I got to plant still. Other than that, I think that's pretty much what I'm going to be planting this year. It's a little too late to do any salads because it's just going to be too hot and they're not going to grow well. It's more of a spring crop, but we didn't have a spring this year. So I guess later this season, maybe September, late September, I'll go ahead and plant some lettuces and my celeries and so forth and get those in before winter comes. So this is my little farm here, and let me know what you think. All right, I hope you enjoyed the tour. Hope I didn't get you too dizzy with all the spinning around of the camera and so forth. So I appreciate you guys watching my video, and you guys have a good day, and go ahead and grow something yourselves. All right.